Greta, nice to chat with you again. What's your takeaway from what Special Counsel Robert Mueller told Congress today?
Well, the Democrats were hoping for something explosive that would persuade the other members of the Democratic chamber, to possibly move this towards articles of impeachment. But the problem is that Special Counsel Mueller said that he's going to stick to the script, essentially just stick to this book, his Mueller report, and just say what was in the report, and he did. And so as a result, the Democrats probably didn't achieve what they wanted to and hoped to, but the one thing that they did have is that if there are a lot of people watching this across America, what they're going to see is they're going to see what's in the report because they probably didn't read the report. Now, the Republicans, they scored a lot of points and they were able to punch a lot of holes, especially in the area of whether or not there was some bias in going after the president, because they outlined all the people that Special Counsel Mueller went after, but then they also listed all the people that they didn't bother going after, some that might have been tied to the Clinton campaign or the Clinton side. So the Republicans had an opportunity to poke some holes. Mueller stayed to the script, and the Democrats probably a little bit disappointed. But you know politics, Mike, everybody's going to walk out of the hearing today and find something for himself and declare victory. The Republicans are going to say, we got a victory today, we got a lot, but so are the Republicans.
So for 5+ hours of testimony, we really didn't uncover anything new.
Not any new ground. There was no new ground at all that was unearthed. But at least you're sort of able to put a face with the report. So, you know, there's some advantage to that. Look, I like the fact that the American people can see how we do our democracy. It's not always pretty. It's like sausage. You don't want to necessarily know how it's made, but at least you see the sort of the question and answer. The downside, though, Mike, which I don't like, is that oftentimes the witness, here Mueller, is used by the political parties, and the questions really aren't questions, but they're speeches. And you saw that with the Republicans did it and the Democrats. So they both had their shot of trying to make their points through Mueller. And Mueller actually looked he looked slow today. He didn't seem to be on his game. He was not snappy answering questions. Even at one time, one of the questioners asked him who was the first person to appoint him U.S. attorney, and he said, President Bush, meaning President Bush 41, and he had to be corrected, and they said, no, President Reagan appointed you. And it was just sort of a bad moment for Mueller. He just didn't see him on his game.
So where do you expect it goes from here?
I think what's going to happen is Speaker Pelosi is going to corral all the Democrats and say, look, you know, I gave you a chance for these hearings. We've now got to look on to the elections coming up in 2020, that if they attempt to have articles of impeachment, if they take it that far, and even if they get the articles of impeachment, Speaker Pelosi's got a long eye. She knows this, that even if they do get articles of impeachment, and of course then all the Democrats will have to answer it to it. The ones who are in the more moderate districts are going to have to answer it to voters come 2020. But even if they do get articles of impeachment, they're never going to win in the U.S. Senate, because they'd have to have 2/3 majority, and the majority in the Senate are the Republicans. So they're never going to get this president tossed out of office like this. So I think the biggest problem right now tonight is probably for Speaker Pelosi trying to figure out how she can declare this is a win, how she can satisfy the real left-wing part of her party within the chamber, the House of Representatives, and also try to put this behind them and move on to 2020.
Thank you, Greta. Always a pleasure chatting with you.